You know, this is a workshop, and I want to just offer a few things that are on my mind as we re-review. So, I appreciate the conversation, and I'm just going to propose some ideas that you all think about. I'm not going to try to create a half an hour back and forth. I say that respectfully. So, first thing is I appreciate the acknowledgement of this funding not being available for the narcotics unit to fill out. So I think, personally, I think we're going to have to have, a conversation through the county administrator and through the sheriff's office and others about that, for me, being a priority for the coming budget year and cycle, and for scoping out what that looks like. Because I think, obviously, we're talking specifically about when the sheriff discussed it, about 4 or 5 different narcotic rings, crime rings that are here in the area. As always, interested in how that looks across regional cooperation, but even if it's not funded by this, I think it should be a part of that presentation when we come back. I think it'd be good to sit alongside you guys. It'd be good to see the sheriff for 2 reasons. One is for the enforcement aspect of the narcotics unit and how that goes in with this. Second thing is the jail. There's been a lot of discussion by the assistant sheriffs at the jail about the revolving door of the jail, of substance abuse and going into the jail, detoxing, coming out onto the street, having tolerance drop drastically, and having heavy overdoses right when somebody comes back out. And obviously the difficulty with managing drugs into the jail when you're talking about, as was mentioned by the doctor, an aspirin size amount of fentanyl being enough to kill 160 people, I think is what he said. So I can't help but think about what this means in terms of our implementation of SB 43 and the conservatorship reforms. And once again, I'm interested in what the appropriate crossover is with Measure O and our funding that's provided, and threading together those. Also, Be Well, the behavioral health unit, and what that all means. So I probably, like you all, I'm thinking about this in a triaged approach where maybe there's recommendations from you all that take into account high potential opportunities, and there might be some that are placement focused, right? About lump sum investments and even things that we can draw fellow funders, whether it's hospitals or the like, for upfront costs. And then do we use the $3 million over 10 years as ongoing to really fund facilities and fund programs? For me, just one story. One nurse who, during a time in the hospital recently with a member of my family, looked at us and he said that most of his work is in the emergency room at Sutter. And he said, basically, on the nights and the weekends, it's very normal to have 50+% of the people there really looking for opioids. Now, that is a total anecdote from somebody who is but he says, still to this day, the amount of people that come to the hospitals that look for opioids, and then at the same time, we talk about this issue really with respect to fentanyl all the time, right? And where those collide. I know you all know a lot more than me about this when we talk about opioids. How much are we really talking about fentanyl zombies in Portland or San Francisco, or how much hunched over, or how much are we talking about the other side? So that's just something that I'm going to be interested in as you put options forward for funding. I'll follow by saying, obviously, that a regional discussion with Marin, Napa, Solano, Mendo, and Lake, especially our border counties, whether we're co-funding or we're just understanding with a knowledge share of what each are doing. Once again, I don't need to be on that appointee list or whatever, but if you need an ad hoc from each of those counties to be with you to have a discussion so that staff and electeds can at least talk about directing funds, to me, that would be something I'd love to see, whether I'm the appointee or not. That's not what I'm asking for. I would love for somebody on your team, whoever you feel is appropriate, to work with us with as reps to NACO and CSAC on the opioid solution center work so that we can inform their policies with our innovations, but also, grab whatever's most relevant. And then I just want to finish by saying that I really appreciate that while we're talking about all this is the creation of whether it's a technical advisory committee, as was stated, or something that really brings in, as much as we talk about the community, it's the community partners who have the experience and the aptitude and the desire to work on this. I really think we could do town halls, but for my part, there's a lot of existing work here and a lot of ideas. And I'm somebody who my one concern is that with that list of so many potentials of what we can do is that this becomes a peanut butter approach where you spread it over like all of these different programs and areas, and we don't achieve the real impact we want to achieve. So, obviously that's kind of the triage approach. So I put all that out to offer that to you all for when we come back. Thank you very much.